Okay, class, hope you're having a good one. Let me go and give you step-by-step instructions on how to do the first assignment, which is going to be the 60-second radio commercial that you're supposed to do. Now, what this commercial will have you do is use some music, not for the entire 60 seconds. You'll have to use it for part of it, and then you'll be fading it down, and then also another part you'll be bringing it back up and then fading it down again. Very easy for you to be able to do in Adobe Audition, and I'll show you how to do that. First of all, if you'll start in the regular first page here, this is the Start Here page. If you'll start here, you can go all the way down, go to where it says List of Assignments for this semester, and of course the first is right here. This is the 60-second radio commercial that you're going to do. Here is your script that you'll be using. As we said, you don't have to worry about actually writing a script. The script is already provided for you. And this is for a fictional place called Sounds Great. That's going to be the fictional name of the audio company that you're going to be doing this advertisement for. So when you take a look at an audio script, you see that you have these instructions around parentheses. These are not for you to actually announce. That's for you to be able to follow the instructions. You'll be bringing the music up and then also the music under, which means that that music bed will be under your voice. And so your voice would come in, and this is what you'd be reading. Then the music dies. You'll read all of this without music. And then you'll bring the music back up and establish under, and you'll have this to be able to kind of finish it out. Then the music will go up and then fade out, and at the same time that it fades out, you'll say, "Ah, sounds wonderful." So what we do is for this particular assignment, we're going to go into Adobe Audition, and we can actually record the music bed that we want to use, and also we can record the written part, the written script. Here we can go ahead and have all of that taken care of. So let me go ahead and open up Adobe Audition. We'll go ahead and do that. Let me reopen this here real fast. We had a little bit of a connectivity issue on campus not long ago, so let me try to reopen Adobe Audition here, and we'll start from scratch. We should be good to go. All right, so we have Adobe Audition up. Now, once again, if you actually have your audio and your music beds pre-recorded in one of the K labs, if you went ahead and did that early, you can go in and you can find your file by either this folder or by the traditional way of File and Open. If you've not yet done that, you can record two separate files in the waveform editor. You want to go ahead and press waveform as I just did. You want to say here, this is your commercial music bed. Now, it's a 60-second commercial, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to record 60 seconds worth of music. Once again, you can do this in the K Labs. And so I'm not going to use any popular music because this is ultimately going to go on YouTube, and we want to make sure that for licensing purposes, that we just play something generic enough that we can use it as an example. And so obviously you're going to want to pick something that you have. If there's something where there's like 60 seconds of instrumental, or even if you have a little bit of vocal lyric, you can still use that as well, especially when you're kind of fading down a little bit. The only problem with having vocals is that if you try to have vocals under your dialogue, people are going to get really confused. So on your actual spoken part, you want to make sure that you don't have any vocals there. You want to make sure that you just have music as the instrumental music bed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record 60 seconds of the music I'm going to use for this particular ad. I'm going to go ahead and do that by pressing record. Okay, so that should be good enough. That's going to be more than what we need. And that's one of the things about audio production. You want to make sure that you're recording more than what you need in anything that you have. So that way it gives you some wiggle room to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now, since I'm still in the waveform editor, I'm going to go ahead and take out things that I don't need. I know I've been speaking to you on this. So this part here, I can move the playhead over to the front, and then I can press the space bar to be able to maybe take this out. And let me see, you're going to actually want to hear this. So hold on one second. Let me try this again. Pressing record. Yeah, so I can take that. Once again, I can go on the left click on the mouse. I can drag that over, hit the delete button, and that will delete that out of the way. I was talking over here on this end, so I can just move this over right there. Okay, so, and I don't want that, so I can just take that out. So here's the 60-second music bed. It's a little over 60 seconds. So as you see here, it's 1:06, and that's okay. So what we want to do is this is a little, we want to try to bring the volume up on this just a little bit. And there's a way that you can do that. You can start here. You can drag the playhead over to the very beginning. And you can just go ahead and press the left button. You can put your mouse right here, and you can just drag this all the way across. Now, you see where this is. This is kind of your amplitude adjustment. And so what you can do is you can actually move this up a little bit. And what happens is, since this is all selected audio, it's going to adjust everything and move the amplitude up and actually raise the volume to what it is that you need it to be. So that makes it louder and makes it pretty good. Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you don't have too much of this. You see where this waveform here is almost clipping at the top. You don't want to have too much of that. Because then it becomes overmodulated and it can pop and it can just really be a really bad sound. So even if you wanted to maybe lower this amplitude just a little bit, that's okay too. You can just, like turning this wheel here, you can just kind of lower it down a little bit, and that would actually be acceptable right there, because you're not going to get any high peaks here, which could possibly cause overmodulation, and that would not be good at all. So what we'll do is this is the commercial music bed. We can actually save as commercial music bed, save it as a WAV file. We can put it on our desktop because that's where we have it there. You save it as a WAV, press OK. So now we have that saved as a WAV. Now what we'll do is we will set a new file. This is a new audio file. We'll go into a multi-track session here in just a little bit. We'll do we'll do a commercial radio announcement. This is where I'm going to actually speak. Now, go back to Blackboard, and you see, once again, here is your actual written part that you're going to want to record. So what I'll do is I have printed that out on paper, and I will go ahead and record that directly into Adobe Audition. Now, once again, if you were in the K-Labs and you wanted to go ahead and have all of this pre-recorded, you could do that and then bring it all over into Adobe Audition by way of either this, opening the file this way or opening the file that way. So what I'll do is I will go ahead and start recording my part, and then I'll make any edits that I need to make, and then I'll show you how we can actually put this into the edit mode to be able to bring this all together. So I'll press the record button. You can see that I'm starting to record. My level is a little low, but not too bad. I can live with that. That's one of the things about this. You want to make sure that when you're recording something that it's lower than what you actually need it to be, because in post editing, you can always bring it up if you need to. If it's way high, if it's too hot, then there's really nothing you can do to fix the audio if it's overmodulated. So I like to keep it low around here. If I want to bring it up a little bit in post editing, I can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do this part. What I'll do is I will count off from 3, and then I'll start recording. 3, 2, 1. I love music. Who doesn't? And I love my iPod. They're so clear, they sound great. Until something goes wrong. And that can mean big repair bills. Or worse yet, the repair guy thinks it's a toaster. But it doesn't have to be that bad. Because sounds great will fix your iPod, smartphone, or any other stereo component right there, the first time, guaranteed. Sounds Great has an expert repair department, and they fix Apple, Samsung, Sony, and all the major audio brands. So if your toaster's smoking, well, people do say that music's the food of the soul, so maybe you don't need that toaster anyway. Check out Sounds Great on Caraway Road before you reach Interstate 555 in Jonesboro. Ah, sounds wonderful. Okay, after that I can stop. Now what I want to do is I want to go back, I want to listen to this and make any edits. I know I did mess up a couple of times, and that's okay. This is the part I was talking to you at. You set 3, 2, 1 because it proves as a marker. So here you can see this as 3, 2, 1. All of that I don't need because I was talking to you on that. I'm going to go ahead and take that out. I think the end was right here. Ah, sounds wonderful. Okay, good. So this part can be taken out. So what I have now 59 seconds. I know I'm going to have probably a little under 59, possibly, because of the 2 areas where I messed up. So let's find those real fast and we can go ahead and edit those out. Or worse yet, the repair guy thinks it's a toaster, but it doesn't have to be that bad. Because Sounds Great will fix your iPod, smartphone, or any other Okay, so right there, I know I messed it up around there, so I'm going to drag that playhead back. I'm going to actually zoom in, and I can take this one part out. Because Sounds Great will fix your iPod, smartphone, or any other So one tip, when you mess up, if you know what sentence you messed up at, you want to start back at the beginning of that sentence you messed up at and start all over again. So that way it makes the editing a little bit easier. So that's what I did is I messed up on that one part. I just started at the beginning of the sentence. That way I can just drag over here, and it's very easy. Hit the delete button, and it's gone. Have to be that bad. Because Sounds Great will fix your iPod, smartphone, or any other stereo component right there. Now I can zoom this out to see where the next part is, and I can see right here there's a little bit of a space because I did leave myself a space after I messed up, so that way it makes it a little bit easier for me to be able to see exactly where that was. So let me go ahead and take the playhead, move it over a little bit. All the major audio brands. So if your toaster's smoking, well, people do say that music's the food of the soul. So let me go back here one more time. Until something goes wrong. And that can mean big repair bills. Or worse yet, so here's another area. This was the planned pause in that script. This is the area where I needed to take that out. So let's just go ahead and mark that area. We'll delete it. Go back and listen to it. Repair bills. Or worse yet, the repair guy thinks it's a toaster, but it doesn't have to be that bad. Until something goes wrong. And that can mean big repair bills. Or worse yet, one more edit. Take that out. Repair bills. Or worse yet, the repair. Okay, so we have everything edited out. So now what we'll do is we'll actually record this, we'll save this rather, as the commercial radio announcement wave that's on the desktop. Okay. All right. So we have those ready to go. Now, if I wanted to adjust the volume on this, I actually could. Once again, I could bring this up just a little bit. And I think that would work. If I want to resave that, I can. Save as. Override it, yes. Okay. So now what we can do is we want to go into multi-track mode. This will ask for a new multi-track session. And so you want to always go ahead and say, yes, I'll do the multi-track session. We're going to do this as radio commercial, audio 2. We'll just do it that way. So we'll press OK. Now we're in the multi-track mode. Now we see here this is the session. We see here that this is the announcement and this is the music bed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move the music bed over to the second track. I will take the commercial announcement, move it over to the first track, and then we're going to go ahead and actually start putting this commercial together. Now, what I showed you in class last time was that there are several things that you can do to be able to make this commercial work. You can adjust the volume, because you don't want to have the volume of the music and the volume of the spoken part, your voiceover, to be at the same voice level, because one's going to drown each other out. So ultimately, it'll be harder for you to be able to hear. You're going to have to drop the music down some. So what we're going to do is we can actually start. The instructions call for music up and the music under. So what we want to do is we want to move, and we can actually go anywhere here on this. We'll put the mouse here, left click. We can just kind of move that over a little bit. So the commercial music bed is going to start, and then we're going to drop it under my voice. So let's go ahead and do that. You can press the space bar to start the music. I love music. Who does? So as you can tell right there that it was hard to hear. So what we'll do is we'll set a diamond. We'll press this once on the volume bar, and that will light up that volume bar, which is this yellow bar here. We'll press it a second time, and we can put a diamond right here. What this does is this sets an edit point. And now what we can do is we can actually drag this volume down a little bit, probably to about, we'll try about 19.4 negative. We're going to move this over just a little bit. We can actually move it over. We can move this over just a little bit. But what you want to do is you want to have a fade right at the point where your vocal part is going to start in. So let's go ahead and try this again. I love music. Who doesn't? And I love my iPod. They're so clear. They sound great. Now, the instructions call for the music to actually die out. So here's where the die out is going to be. And so we can actually put another diamond here, and we can actually drop the music down. We can actually just drop it. And that's what we'll do here. But we want to make sure that we keep the rest of the music bed here, because we're going to need that a little bit later on in the commercial. So this is how this is going to sound for the first part. I love music. Who doesn't? And I love my iPod. They're so clear. They sound great. Until something goes wrong. And that can mean big repair bills. Or worse yet, the repair guy thinks it's a toaster. But it doesn't have to be that bad, because sounds great will fix your iPod, smartphone, or any other stereo component right there, the first time guaranteed. Sounds Great has an expert. So as we continue on, we want to go ahead and zoom this out a little bit, so that way we can get ready for when we're going to bring the music back up, which will be right about here. So let's go ahead. Once again, the volume is all the way down. Let's try it again. Repair department, and they fix Apple, Samsung, Sony, and all the major audio brands. So if your toaster's smoking, well, all right, right here, we'll move the play bed over just a little bit, or the play head. We can actually set another diamond right here, and then we can just bring this back up to, it was about, what, 19? So we can bring that right about there. Okay, well, you know, people do say that music's the food of the soul. So maybe you don't need that toaster anyway. Now what it says is, it says the music is up and then under, and it's established. What we could do is we could actually bring the volume up a little bit more, probably up to the 0, because that's where we started. If we want to move this out just a little bit, there is a way that we can take our our dialogue here, and we can actually move it a little bit over just a hair if we want to. What we'll do is we'll move the play bed over right about here. Up here, there's a razor blade. Now, what the razor blade will do is it will actually split this particular thing in half. Right about here is where we maybe want to split it. So we'll take the razor blade. We've just went ahead and we just split only this part. This part was not affected. It's just this top part here that's been affected. Okay, and we know that because when we were working on this, well, we don't want to do that. Undo that particular razor. We want to go over to move. We know that because when we were working on this, this was lit up. This area here was lit up. This area was not. So when you're dealing with volume down here, you'll see this is lit up. This is not. When you're dealing with cutting something like this, that's actually lit up. So what we did is we took the razor, we cut that. We could actually move this a little bit. Right here, we can just move this over. We can just move it over just a little bit. And that separates it out just a little bit more. So then what we can do is we'll get out of this. So we can move it over just a little bit. This is actually the move tool. This move tool will allow you to be able to move it over just a little bit. So then what we can do is we can have the volume come back, and then we'll drop the volume down again a little bit. So if your toaster's smoking, well, you know, people. So what I'll do is I brought it back to the original volume, drop it down again to about 19 or so, about 19.4. There you go. And then should be able to have it for the rest of the way because that's what the instructions call for. So let's try it. Well, you know, people do say that music's the food of the soul. So maybe you don't need that toaster anyway. Check out Sounds Great on Caraway Road before you reach Interstate 555 in Jonesboro. Ah, sounds wonderful. And so here, what we'll do is we can actually have the music fade down. And if we have too much here, what you can do is you can actually take this excess out. How do you do that? Well, you go all the way, once again, you're using the move tool here. Go all the way to the end where that bracket is, and it shows the arrow pointing towards the left. You can actually just take the rest of that out. And that is how you're able to do that. And that is within about 52 seconds or so. It's not going to be the full minute on this one. So if we wanted to try to get it to right around a minute, we could actually bring this back to about here. We can move this out. Yeah, there we go. Right to about a minute. Let's move this. There we go. Well, hold on. Sorry. Let's go back to the multi-track mode. There we go. So we'll go back to the move tool. Once again, we use the razor tool to cut. We can use the move tool to move this around a little bit. We can actually go to the volume. We can extend this out maybe just a little bit. We'll have to play around with it just a little bit. Here, if we want a little bit of a music fade, we can actually bring this up. And that's the beauty about it is that you can play around with this just, a little bit. We'll do it that way. Samsung, Sony, and all the major audio brands. So if your toaster's smoking, well, people do say that music's the food of the soul. So maybe you don't need that toaster anyway. Check out Sounds Great on Caraway Road before you reach Interstate 555 in Jonesboro. Ah, sounds wonderful. All right, so here I actually brought that music up a little early. This kind of a project is really good because it allows you to be able to kind of play around with it a little bit. If you Once you can actually just keep stretching that out just a little bit. You can stretch that out a little bit. We'll try it at the end here. Sounds wonderful. And then it drops out. So let's go back here to this part. Well, what I'll do is I'll actually extend this for a few seconds just to make that fade a little bit more natural. You do want to have the fade at an angle. You don't want it to have it like drop straight down. Here we had it drop straight down because it was appropriate for the actual for what we were doing by way of the script, because it said music up and then dies. Let's try this again here. Well, you know, people do say that music's the food of the soul, so maybe you don't need that toaster anyway. Check out Sounds Great on Caraway Road before you reach Interstate 555 in Jonesboro. Ah, sounds wonderful. All right, so that is going to be exactly a minute. So what we'll do now is we can actually save this mix down now. So what we'll do is we'll go to multi-track, mix down session to new file. We're going to take the entire session, and this is the mix down as it is. And so what we can do is we can listen to it again just to make sure that it sounds okay, and then we can actually save it. I love music. Who doesn't? And I love my iPod. They're so clear, they sound great. Until something goes wrong, and that can mean big repair bills. Or worse yet, the repair guy thinks it's a toaster. But it doesn't have to be that bad, because Sounds Great will fix your iPod, smartphone, or any other stereo component right there, the first time guaranteed. Sounds Great has an expert repair department, and they fix Apple, Samsung, Sony, and all the major audio brands. So if your toaster's smoking, well, you know, people do say that music's the food of the soul, so maybe you don't need that toaster anyway. Check out Sounds Great on Caraway Road before you reach Interstate 555 in Jonesboro. Ah, sounds wonderful. All right, I'm happy with that. Sorry about that. I'm happy with that. So what I'll do now is I'll just, since it's in the mix down, and we see it says here Radio Commercial Audio 2 Mix Down, I'll go ahead and save as. It'll ask for the mix down. It'll say, okay. And so now the mix down has been saved to the desktop. So as I put that to the desktop, what I'll do now is I will go ahead and find this, which is right here. It's the Radio Commercial Audio 2 Mixdown 1 that we just did. You can see it's a 1-minute wave file. So as a reminder, you need to go ahead and put this on your SoundCloud accounts. If you've not yet already set up a SoundCloud account, you need to go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and go to my SoundCloud account, soundcloud.com. And the reason why we're using the SoundCloud account is this allows you to be able to work and put all of your audio projects into SoundCloud, and then you can upload them, or you can attach them or put them into your portfolio that is going to be required and due. So I'll go here. This is, of course, mine. And what I'll do is I will upload. You can choose this, and so what I'll do is I'll go to the desktop here. This is going to be the Radio Commercial Audio 2 Mixdown, open, and there it is. Now it will take just a second for this to process and get ready for that, but it is ready. Click Save to post the track. You can do that, and you can just leave this as is. If you want to put a description, you can. This is an assignment for audio production 2, and then save. And what you want to make sure is that you're able to have this available, this link here, because that allows you to be able to share it here. And of course, there it is. There is the radio commercial audio 2 mixdown 1 here. So just want to give you that information. And once again, you can copy this and give it over to me, and I'll be able to grade it that way. But please upload everything to SoundCloud and then make sure that link is going to work. And that way I can open it up and grade it accordingly. So if you have any other questions, please let me know. I'm here to help any way that I can. Once again, my email is jreaves, that's JREAVES, @astate.edu. Anytime, just get in touch with me. Thanks. Have a great day. Thanks for watching the video.